Ces députés-là nous disent qu'ils ont besoin de la permission du Premier ministre pour parler au micro au caucus demain.
At tomorrow's caucus meeting, so he will be able to muzzle them with regards to the doubling of our debt, of inflation, of housing costs and corruption. Will he allow freedom of expression for his MPs so that they can express themselves?
So, the chair could not detect that this question has to do with the administration of government. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I think, Mr. Speaker, we see, on voit très clairement encore une fois que le chef de l'opposition,
the leader of the opposition, should concern himself with his priorities. He doesn't care about Canadians' priorities. We're delivering for Canadians, for dental care, for pharmacare, for $10 a day daycare. The Conservative leader offers only cuts and austerity and political play. What we are going to do on this side of the House is work for Canadians and their well-being. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, it's the Prime Minister who is distracting himself with political games because his own MPs, about 40 of them, have noted that he is simply not worth the cost, the crime, or the corruption. They have lost their trust in this Prime Minister. It's strange that the Bloc Québécois keeps voting for confidence in the government when the own government's members seem to no longer want to do so. Members should be able to express themselves freely. Will the Prime Minister stop muzzling them so that they can express themselves to say finally that the Prime Minister is not worth the cost or the crime? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Once again, Mr. Speaker, we see the point up to which the Leader of the Opposition is only working for his own partisan politics. He's not working for the well-being of Canadians. We are here to invest in pharmacare, for example, that will deliver insulin for free to those who need it, that will deliver contraception for women from coast to coast to coast. And the Conservative leader just wants to talk about politics. He wants to talk about the cuts that he will make in programs that Canadians need. We will be here for Canadians. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we now learn there are about 40 Liberal MPs that believe that this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the cost, crime, and corruption. But there's this strange rule in the Liberal caucus that you need to have permission from the Prime Minister to speak at the microphone. So a Liberal MP wanted to get up and say quadrupling the carbon tax is a bad idea or doubling housing costs is making people homeless. They can't do it. Will the Prime Minister lift the gag so his Liberal MPs can say to his face that he's not worth the crime, the cost, and the corruption?
Once again, in English, none of these questions have to deal with the administration of government, but I see the order. I see that the Prime Minister is rising to his feet. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it seems that the Conservative leader is confusing rules that apply within his Conservative caucus to rules that we have in the Liberal Party. But the reality is, Mr. Speaker, we see at which point the Conservative leader is simply focused on playing politics and gaining power. That's why he wants to talk about things that are not having to do with delivering for Canadians. He doesn't want to talk about the fact that close to 1 million Canadians will be receiving dental care because of our Canadian dental program that he says doesn't even exist and that he's voted against every step of the way.
May I ask the honourable member from Battle River Crowfoot to please not take the microphone when the speaker is up on his feet or when other speakers who have been recognized by the speaker is taking the floor. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to have to bring up this terrible rule. It's just that Liberal backbench MPs are coming and talking to all of us to say that they're not allowed to speak to him. And they're wondering if I could perhaps pose some questions on their behalf. Mr. Speaker, I guess they can't get anywhere with the current Prime Minister, so they'd rather talk to the future common sense Conservative. Instead of silencing his own MPs, will he let them get up to the mic tomorrow to tell him that he's not worth the cost, crime, and corruption?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the reality is he can't administer the government because he's too busy fighting for his job after 9 years. Even if his MPs know it. He broke immigration, he doubled the debt, doubled housing costs, doubled crime, doubled the cost of living in a home. He wants to quadruple the carbon tax that's already forced 2 million people to a food bank, 1 in 4 kids to hunger, 25% of Canadians to poverty. Canadian food prices up 36% faster than in the States. StatsCan says we have the biggest gap between rich and poor in our recorded history. His MPs know that he's broke the country. Will they call a carbon tax election so we can fix it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition, like all of us in this House, know that Canadians are facing challenging times. His solution, however, is to offer them cuts, is to offer them no programs that they can rely on, and to vote against things like dental care and pharmacare and investments in a green economy that is going to create jobs and careers long into the future. He wants to harm Canadians where we're focusing on delivering for them. He wants cuts to programs and services while we're busy investing in Canadians and their futures. That's the choice Canadians get to make.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Monsieur le Président, le temps passe.
Time is moving on. 4 million retirees in Canada, 1 million retirees in Quebec are waiting for an improvement of their purchasing power in a real way and not through slogans. Thousands of supply-managed farmers and producers are waiting for their system to be protected. Will the Prime Minister seize the opportunity to do something useful and improve the lives of 4 million retirees, 1 million retirees in Quebec, and tens of thousands of farmers and producers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Like my honourable colleague knows full well, we will always defend supply management. We will always protect our farmers and producers from coast to coast to coast. With regards to seniors, he says that he wants to act. Well, we've acted. When we reduced retirement from 67, as the Conservatives wanted, to 65, unfortunately, the Bloc voted against. We also acted when we delivered an increase in 10% in the guaranteed income supplement. The Bloc voted against. There's a dental care program that delivered for close to 1 million Canadians. They voted against. The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. The Prime Minister is manipulating the facts. But acting is something he'll have to do in a few days. In a paralysed parliament like this one, with a paralysed government like this one, we have made a proposal that will help people. A proposal that could stabilise Parliament for another few weeks. He'd need it. Will he allow his party to be eaten from within and without, or will he change things for the better for millions of people? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I've said many times, Mr. Speaker, I completely agree with the desire to be here for seniors who need our help. And that is the reason for which our government has enacted a number of measures in the past years to invest in seniors, to be here for our seniors. And we are open to working with people in this House in order to deliver even more for seniors. The honourable member for Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie. Mr. Speaker, poverty and insecurity are affecting more and more people. According to one study, every month, 40% of Quebecers are a mere $200 away from bankruptcy. $200, Mr. Speaker. The situation is so serious that the expression tightening our belts is becoming too real. 20% of people are eating less just to save a bit of money. It makes no sense. It's a result of the Liberals' weakness in forcing CEOs of big grocery stores to do the right thing. When will the Liberals stand up, grow a spine, and force these companies to control the prices of essential foods? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the NDP knows full well that we have enacted measures to improve competitivity between groceries. We have delivered direct aid to families who needed it, and we're also delivering a program for food in schools that is saving hundreds for families from coast to coast to coast. We will continue to be here to support Canadians. We will continue to be here to invest in programs that will help Canadians, whilst the Conservatives are just threatening austerity and cuts.
The honourable member from Nunavut.
Last week, First Nations leaders respected the First Nations Caring Society by voting to guarantee all First Nations children will be protected from Canada's discrimination in child and family services. The Liberals had offered a weak funding plan with an expiry date. This discrimination must stop now and forever. Will the Prime Minister finally respect the Human Rights Tribunal, stop discriminating against First Nations children, and offer First Nations an agreement that upholds their rights?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, reconciliation means walking as true partners to Indigenous peoples, and we, of course, will continue to be there to invest in supports for Indigenous peoples. It means we will continue to work with them in the ways that make sense. I will highlight that the Chiefs of Ontario and the Anishinaabe Aski Nation are continuing to look for ways to move forward with the government to support kids who've been affected in care. We will continue to be there to work in partnership with Indigenous leadership and communities to deliver the supports so deeply needed by so many young people.
That's great.
The honourable member from Calgary Forest Lawn.
After 9 years of this Liberal NDP government, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. The parliamentary budgeting officer confirmed what Canadians already know. This incompetent finance minister can't do math. She's going to blow through her own deficit this year by $7 billion. Wow. That's higher taxes and lower standards of living. 1 in 4 Canadians are already skipping meals, and this Liberal-made misery is only going to get worse. Why not call a carbon tax election now so Conservatives can fix the budget?